it was really cool, hearing sort of your parents' feedback and what they noticed about you when you returned. But I'd love to hear from you that you went on a 5-week program. I think if you had put in that investment of time and resources and money and everything else just for experience for 5 weeks, I don't know how worth it that would be. So I'd love to hear, like, from your perspective, what do you think has changed for you since you've been in this program? What's different? How have you grown as a human being, hopefully in positive ways, but maybe in some other ways as well? I know you said some of your friends have heard enough about Nepal. Yeah, no, yeah. What's like the takeaway? What did you see as like the long-term impact of an experience like this?
Well, there are definitely so many takeaways. I feel changed as a person, a human, coming home from this trip because it was just so immersive, and I like living in a whole new culture that's it's totally different from your own. There's like different ways of living, and now you really will understand that. Like living with my family, one of the greatest things was learning how to live with less, and I think we don't really realize that being such a materialistic, society in the United States. I think the greatest thing is all I really had was a bed and a table. We had obviously like there was pots and things, and we sat on little stools, but you really didn't need all the stuff that we have, and it was so interesting. It was so great. I came home and I was really overwhelmed, and I was like, why do we have all these little things? I don't know. It was quite amazing. Also, especially in Nepal, all the little things they did had a significance. They had a meaning. Like when I would come into my house, I would have to take off my shoes before I came into the house because the floor it was somewhat like impure, so you couldn't walk on it with your shoes. So it was just interesting that everything had a meaning, and I think we take a lot of things for granted in the United States in our society, and everything. I don't know. Everything to them is a lot of meaning in all the little things, and I think that was a really great takeaway for me. And it was such a beautiful place. Nepal was, and I'm sure all of the other trips are so beautiful. And all the people you meet, the Nepalis were the kindest people, and they really inspired me to just always be kind and always be generous. And definitely our Nepali guides were some of the greatest. They're awesome, especially on the trek. They're always there for us, when I don't know, if someone was having trouble carrying their backpack one day, they would switch with them. Question. Oh, nervous about going so far away. Definitely I was nervous. But ultimately I'd been to camp for 7 weeks to girls summer camp, but it was only like an hour away from my home, or 2 hours away. But yeah, it was definitely nerve wracking, being with a whole group of people that I didn't really know, a whole new country. But I found that it was so worth it. You really need an experience like that to realize there's a lot more out there, for you. And how did you choose Nepal for the programs? Oh, that how I chose Nepal was just kind of random. I wanted to go somewhere in Asia just because it was so new. I'd been to like Spain, but I hadn't been as far as like Asia or like, over in that area. And my friend Katya met Adam, and she talked about this program Nepal, and I was like, I wanted to do some sort of adventure part, but also the homestay was what I was really excited for. So I loved how there was the hike in the Himalayas. That appealed to me so much. It was so cool because you could do both at one time. Staying with the homestay family and interacting with them, but also getting that like hiking experience in the Himalayas, which was like it was so cool. I don't know when I'd ever get to do that again. Um, yeah, that is why I chose it.
What, because I know we definitely have some parents that are listening. What was your parents, what was the process like preparing for this program? What were they nervous about, when you got back? Like what sort of feedback have you gotten from them?
Well, my parents, they were so on board. They wanted me to do something like some sort of service trip. They knew I was totally into it and that it was something that was such a great experience for me because they both did something like that in high school and college. I think what scared them the most was just the meds and the different diseases and things that were present over in Nepal. Um, but we got all of the medication beforehand, and after talking to Adam and my leaders on the trip, it was kind of um, they were fine after that. And it was just, I think another thing was the packing and just getting ready for it, because we had so many questions like, what type of bag do I bring? Where do I get that bag? Because they're, the trekking portion, you have a bag that carries all of your stuff for those 10 days. So that was a process, but there's the packing list. And it was just getting everything kind of on time. That was, yeah, I don't really know. They were super on board, and they knew it was a really great experience for me, and that it was something that I was it was necessary, just to make me a better person. The typical day like. In Nepal, well, on the trek, I can do both because there was two portions of the trip. The trek portion, a typical day, we would wake up around 7, maybe 7 in the morning, and we would have tea, and it would be muesli, which is kind of like oatmeal, and sometimes they'd have like pancakes or something fun at the tea houses, which are like little lodges that we stayed in at each portion of the trek. So you got that, and you'd have to get everything in your bag, pack up, totally get ready to go, put your bag on, have your rain jacket in a close pocket so you could take it out, because it was monsoon season, but it really didn't rain for that long during the day, which was it was really surprising, but it was pretty cool. And then you'd get your trekking poles, and you'd start going, and we would trek for, I don't know, it was around 5-6 hours of trekking, but we would stop, and we stopped to get lunch, so we sometimes we go half and half, 3 hours and then lunch, or 2 hours and then lunch. We stop for lunch at a tea house and we have dal bhat, which is rice, and dal, which is like something you like pour over the dal bhat, and there's potatoes often. Yeah, dal bhat was so cool to have. It was totally a different meal, but it was a good different. I enjoyed it. And then we'd get trekking again. We would stop often in beautiful places, take pictures, have bathroom breaks. And then at the end of the day, we get to our last, we get to our last tea house we'd be staying in that night. We'd unpack, we'd pick rooms. So we would always stay with a different group member every night. We'd try to switch off. So I stayed with all of the girls in rooms, which is cool. So I got to meet all of them, because that was still part of the bonding experience. And yeah, and then we'd have dinner, and we'd go to bed around pretty early. We go to bed pretty early because we were getting up early. Yeah, in the homestay, we would get up at like 6:30, 7 maybe. Have to be at the work site where we were building a school around 7:30, I believe. And yeah, usually in the morning, our family would be up. The Nepalis woke up almost so early. It was surprising, but they would bring us tea usually in the mornings, our family, and little cookies or something, or sometimes we got mangoes. And then we walked to the work site. My house that I stayed in was pretty close to the work site. It was like 10-minute walk maybe every morning, and we'd have our boots on, our working boots, and then we'd get breakfast at the school. Our Nepali guides, they were with us on the trek. They would make us breakfast every morning, and it was always really good. They made really good food that really appealed to our taste, definitely. And then we'd work for a while, and then we'd have break for some tea, and then we'd work again, and then we'd have break for lunch. And yeah, we just, after our work day, we would go home and hang out with our family. I know my family, they loved, I brought Legos, and they loved to play with the Legos, and we played hopscotch in the dirt a lot of the times, and I'm a dancer, so they realized that super quick, and we would often like dance. Usually in the neighborhood they have phones, So they'd play YouTube videos of like dancers, and we just dance around. And it was really fun. It was really cool. And then we have dinner with our families, and we eat dalbat. It's made by your home mom, and it was honestly, I think that was the best meal. Just the food made by my mom, and sometimes you could cook with your mom if you wanted, your host mom. If you initiated that. So then we go to bed pretty early, like around 9, maybe earlier, depending on how tired we were. Because you're working, you're probably going to be tired. But yeah, what language do you speak in the house? Okay, so language was that's what kind of is scary for a lot of people, but we didn't speak the same language, us and our family, but before in the orientation portion, we learned like key Nepali words that we really needed to know. So like pani is water, charpi is bathroom. I still know a lot of the words. Namaste, hello. But so those, we knew those words, and we had little books with phrases if we really needed to communicate. But so yeah, then we knew like words for food and bathroom, and the main thing, I think this was the coolest thing. We really didn't need words. Like, although my brother, he spoke a little bit of English, just like the colors, and some numbers sometimes. And the coolest thing was we didn't need words. We didn't need to be able to communicate really. It was a lot of just smiling and just pointing, laughing, all of that. It was so wholesome. Like how I always explain it to my friends is when they're like, "You're crazy. How would you be able to do that?" I'm like, it really wasn't bad, with your pets at your house. It's kind of like that. You can't speak with them, but you still have a connection with them. Like I love my dog, but I don't speak his language, so it's kind of like that.
Awesome. Any other questions for Lydia before we let her? It's definitely past 9 o'clock, your typical Nepali bedtime.
It's okay.
Yeah. One question I have, what is like one image from your experience, like one moment or one image that really sticks out in your mind? Like what's something you feel like you'll remember forever?
Oh, I get this question a lot. Definitely. There was one morning in my homestay when, me and my partner, I was with Katya, we woke up and we were going to the bathroom. The bathroom it was just right outside of the house. And we got up and we went outside. The house had totally cleared. And you could see all of like the Himalayas on one side, and then there was Mount Everest right there, which was super cool. So I was just in the presence of Mount Everest, which was really awesome. And I mean, if it was Mount Everest, and my family just sat there outside of our house with me, and we all just looked at the beautiful scenery, and it was so wholesome. It was so awesome, just being with my family, and you could tell there was a connection between all of us. And I think another image is just the first day when I really connected with my family. I showed them some pictures of, my life. That was one thing I would recommend, bringing pictures of just you with your friends, family, your town, wherever you live, to show them. That was a good icebreaker. But yeah, when we first connected, we gave them some of our gifts, and it was awesome. I think the family homestay part was my favorite. Yeah, just the scenery. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Wow. Any other questions for Lydia before we thank her so much? Well, Lydia, I want to say thank you. Thanks for making time to be here. Of course, more than anything, I think you're just such a great example of someone that shows up on a program, positive attitude, smiling all the time, and really help to elevate the program for your leaders, for everyone in the group. You made this such an amazing experience for everybody, and yeah, we're so grateful to have you as part of the community. So thanks for making time to share with us.
Thank you.
Cool. Lydia, have a great night. Feel free to continue to hang out if you have questions or anything like that. But thanks for all the great questions for Lydia, and yeah, we'll talk to you later on.